They say death is unpredictable, sudden, and merciless. But what if that wasn't true? What if death could be scheduled? You can run, you can hide, you can change your plans. But in some places, no matter how far you go, death finds a way. Again and again and again. Across the United States, there are locations that echo with tragedy. Places where the line between coincidence and curse have long been erased. Tonight, on Echoes of the Past, we're diving into real-life locations where death doesn't just visit, it sets up residence. Welcome to the Friday Night Campfire Stories, the place where true terror flickers to life in the dark. Every week we gather around a fire to share tales of horror, hauntings, and humanity's darkest corners. This is Echoes of the Past, the series where we don't just talk about ghost stories, we unravel the chilling history behind them. If you're drawn to the dark, crave the cold chill of the unexplained, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and join us every week as we uncover the secrets buried in blood, stone, and shadow. Some places don't just carry the weight of tragedy, they pull you towards it. Our first stop, a drowning town, a restless spirit, and hundreds of lives lost to a man-made curse. This is Lake Lanier. Beneath the surface of Lake Lanier in northern Georgia lies a secret the water will never wash away. At first glance, it's a peaceful escape. 38,000 acres of glassy water, speedboats slicing through the sunlit waves, and families lounging on beaches. But what few realize is that they're floating above a graveyard. Before Lake Lanier was a lake, it was land. Home to farmlands, churches, schools, businesses, and entire communities. Towns like Oscarville thrived here, until they were drowned. Not by a natural disaster, but by design. In the 1950s, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers constructed Buford Dam, flooding over 50,000 acres to create a reservoir for Atlanta's growing needs. Over 250 families were displaced, cemeteries were relocated, or at least they were supposed to. Some graves were left behind. Entire roads now lead nowhere beneath the waves. Foundations, debris, and human remains still rest at its depths. Locals whispered that you could feel the presence of what was once a town that never wanted to be forgotten and refused to be fully buried. Among the most painful losses was the town of Oscarville, a black community erased in the wake of racial terror. In 1912, after false accusations and violent mobs, the residents of Oscarville were forced out, their homes abandoned, their land later swallowed by Lake Lanier. The land was soaked in injustice long before it was submerged, and some believe that is exactly why Lake Lanier has never known peace. Since it was created, more than 700 people have died at Lake Lanier. But it's not just the numbers that disturb, it's how unnatural those deaths feel. Coincidence or consequence? We'll let you decide. They say water remembers, and if that's true, Lake Lanier is drowning in memories, each one more tragic than the last. Since its creation in 1956, over 700 people have died in and around Lake Lanier. Boating accidents, drownings, vehicles careening into the water. But what truly unsettles people are the patterns. Clusters of death occurring in the same spots, survivors reporting unseen hands pulling them under, mechanical failures on a calm sunny day, and no wind, no wave, just disappearance. In 2012, 11-year-old Kyle Glover, the stepson of R&B singer Usher, was struck by a jet ski while riding in an inner tube. He died of his injuries, sparking renewed public concern over the lake's dangerous reputation. Just a year later, two brothers drowned only feet from the shore. One disappeared beneath the surface, the other dove in to save him, and neither came back. In 2021, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources reported that 43 people died or went missing on the lake in a single summer, some vanishing without a trace. Their bodies recovered days or even weeks later. Sometimes not at all. Divers sent to search the lake describe it as a labyrinth of submerged danger. Sharp rebar, broken trees, dangled debris, entire structures. Many say visibility drops to zero in seconds, as if something doesn't want them to see. Some locals claim they'll never set foot in the water. Others say they've seen strange figures standing waist deep in the fog, then vanishing. Even experienced swimmers report feeling cold hands grip their ankles. Is it the restless dead? Is it a curse? Or is Lake Lanier just hungry? There are places where the air shifts, where time stretches thin, and if you're quiet enough, you can feel the dead watching. Lake Lanier isn't just a hotspot for accidents, it's a breeding ground for the unexplained. In 1958, two women, Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts, were driving across Lanier Bridge when they vanished without a trace. Their car was never found. For decades, the lake kept its secrets. About a year later, a body surfaced near the bridge, bloated, unidentified, with no hands. Locals buried her, never confirming who she was. They began calling her the Lady of the Lake. Fishermen and boaters started reporting sightings of the woman in a flowing blue dress drifting across its surface, pale, silent, and missing her hands. She had been seen walking along the bridge at night, always disappearing in the fog. In 1990, 32 years later, the original car was found at the bottom of the lake, with the remains of Susie Roberts inside. This meant the first body was Delia, but people kept seeing her. Locals and visitors alike reported hearing screams echoing across the water late at night with no one in sight. Boats stall for no reason. Electronics fail near the same location where accidents happen over and over again. Some say they've seen a shadowy figure standing in the water, staring silently at them, and vanishing at the moment a flashlight hits. Divers describe being grabbed, pulled, or touched in total darkness. One veteran diver said the lake is as close to a nightmare as you can get underwater. Is it cursed, haunted, or is Lake Lanier just simply an unnatural wound in the world? A place never meant to exist and never able to rest. Maybe it's not just accidents. Maybe it's retribution. For the people displaced, for the drowned, and for the dead who were never meant to be disturbed. There are places where the laws of physics seem to falter, where the veil between the natural and the supernatural grow thin. Welcome to Gravity Hill, nestled along Richfield Road in Stanley County, North Carolina. A stretch of pavement where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. At first glance, it's an unremarkable incline, but the locals whisper tales of vehicles defying gravity, rolling uphill when left in neutral, as if guided by unseen hands. But what force compels these movements? An optical illusion, magnetic anomaly, or something far more sinister? To understand the mystery, we must journey back to a tragic night, a tale etched into the very asphalt of this haunted road. Legend speaks of a young mother and her child traveling this very road late at night, and their mother stepped out to push. A truck emerged from the darkness, striking them both. They died instantly, their lives extinguished in a heartbeat. Since that fateful night, drivers report uncanny phenomena. When their cars are placed in neutral at the base of the hill, they begin to roll uphill, as if pushed by an invisible force. Some even claim to find small handprints on their bumpers, as though the spirits of the mother and child are still trying to prevent others from sharing the same fate. Skeptics argue it's merely an optical illusion, the layout of the land's deceiving eye, but those who have experienced it firsthand speak of an overwhelming sense of unease, a chill that seeps into their bones. Is it a trick of the mind, or a lingering echo of a tragedy long past? Gravity Hill remains a place where boundary between reality and supernatural blurs, a testament to enduring power of legend and mysteries that lie hidden in plain sight. Some places are strange only in legend, but others, you feel the strangeness the moment you arrive. Gravity Hill is one of them. Countless visitors, thrill seekers, skeptics, and ghost hunters alike have traveled to this quiet stretch of road to test the legend for themselves. They park at the base of the hill, place the car in neutral, and wait. Then, almost without warning, the vehicle begins to move uphill. Against all logic, against all reason. Some say they feel a pressure, as if something is pushing the car from behind. Others report hearing whispers just outside the windows, or spotting fleeting figures in the rearview mirrors, silhouettes of women or a small child. One visitor swore they heard footsteps approach their car, only to find small, powdery handprints smeared across the trunk when they stepped out. Investigators using thermal imaging cameras have captured fleeting heat signatures darting across the road, vanishing the moment they're spotted. EMF meters spike near the hill, then drop just as quickly. Some believe the hill is an optical illusion, a perfectly crafted lie of the land, but others believe it's a place stained by grief. A moment of horror trapped in time, a mother still trying to save her child, a warning delivered by the dead. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain, something unnatural happens on this road, and sometimes not all passengers make it back. Some hills test your strength, this one tests your sanity. Gravity Hill, where the dead push back. Some places are marked by tragedy, their very foundation soaked in sorrow. Wheatlands Plantation is one such place, where death doesn't just linger, it resides. Located off Boyd Creek Highway in Sevierville, Tennessee, Wheatland Plantation stands as a testament to a past riddled with violence and unrest. Constructed in 1825 atop a large geode by a Freemason, this federal-style home has witnessed more than 70 deaths within its walls and countless others on its ground. The land itself bears the scars of history, from the Revolutionary War's Battle of Boyd Creek, where approximately 28 Cherokee warriors were slain and buried in a mass grave behind the home, to the Civil War skirmishes that further stained the soil with blood. But it's not just the battles that haunt this place. This plantation is home to the Chandler family, whose legacy is marred by tales of betrayal and murder. One such story tells the father who's slain by his own son in the family parlor, the bloodstains of which reportedly reappear no matter how many times they're cleaned. Beyond the walls, the ground, are a final resting place for over 69 enslaved individuals and 2 Revolutionary War soldiers, their graves unmarked and often forgotten. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike reported unsettling experiences, from apparitions of children playing in the halls to sensations of being watched by unseen eyes. Some even claim to hear the faint sounds of chains dragging across the floor, echoing the plantation's dark past. Wheatlands Plantation is more than just a historical site. It's a place where the past refuses to rest, where the echoes of the departed continue to resonate, and where death's presence is a constant companion. Wheatland Plantation is a place soaked in death, but it's not silent death. It's a house that speaks. The land remembers, and if the stories are to be believed, the dead are still here. Visitors often report an overwhelming heaviness upon entering, like walking into someone else's nightmare. A figure of a man, believed to be the Chandler patriarch, has been seen pacing the upstairs hallway, repeating his final moments before he was killed by his son. He vanishes just as quickly as he appears, but not before turning to face the witnesses, and mouthing a silent word that can never quite understand. Several have seen a small child at the base of the staircase. She's barefoot, dressed in white, and always weeping. She beckons towards the front door, and then vanishes when anyone follows. One guest, a historian staying overnight, awoke to a sensation of a small hand gripping hers in the dark, only to find the room empty, but the faint sound of a lullaby echoing down the hallway. One of the most chilling tales comes from the parlor, the room where the son had killed his father in cold blood. No matter how many times the floor is scrubbed, the bloodstains reappear. Some say it pulses at night, growing darker as the sun sets, as though it remembers. Psychics brought to the house have reported intense feelings of betrayal and rage in that very room, often breaking down in tears or fleeing the house entirely. Chains dragging across the wooden floors, footsteps in the attic above where no one has access to, doors slamming shut violently, locking guests inside the room for hours. One paranormal team even captured what appeared to be a shadow person emerging from the fireplace, standing there for several seconds before dissolving in the smoke. Several guests have reported scratches, bruises, and icy touches. One even claimed to see dozens of glowing eyes staring back at them through the trees behind the house, just beyond the unmarked graves. Wheatlands Plantation isn't just haunted, it's haunted with intention. Here, death doesn't knock, it waits, it listens, and at the right moment, it reminds you we're never truly alone. A home where the past wrongs replay themselves, where pain echoes through time, and where death never truly left. As we continue our journey through these places cursed by fate, remember, death doesn't always come by chance. Sometimes it follows a pattern. Some roads lead you home. Others lead you somewhere else entirely. Clinton Road, nestled in the dense woods of West Milford, New Jersey, is a 10-mile stretch of asphalt where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurs. Here, death doesn't just linger. It stalks, it waits, and it returns. Over the decades, Clinton Road has emerged as a reputation as one of America's most haunted roads. Legends abound, ghostly apparitions, phantom vehicles, and tales of rituals performed deep in the woods. But among these stories, some stand out for their chilling consistencies and the dread they instill in those who dare to traverse this cursed path. Near a bridge over Clinton Brook, locals speak of the Ghost Boy. It's said that if you throw a coin over the edge of the bridge at midnight, the spirit of a young boy who drowned in the brook will return it for you. Some have reported seeing the coin reappear on the bridge, while others claim to have felt a small hand push them away from the edge, as if saving them from the same fate that he suffered. But the Ghost Boy is just the beginning. Drivers have reported being chased by phantom vehicles, headlights appearing in rearview mirrors, only to vanish without a trace. One tale speaks of a black Camaro that appears out of nowhere, tailgating drivers before disappearing into the night. Some believe it's driven by the spirit of a girl who died in tragic accident on this very road. And then there's Cross Castle. Once a grand stone mansion, now reduced to its ruins, it became a hotspot for those seeking the supernatural. Visitors have reported unsettling experiences, sudden drops in temperature, disembodied voices, and even physical attacks by unseen forces. Some believe the castle's dark history has left its mark, attracting malevolent entities to its remains. Clinton Road's sinister reputation isn't just built on ghost stories, though. In 1983, a cyclist discovered a decomposing body in the woods, wrapped in a green garbage bag. The investigation led them to Richard the Iceman Kalinsky, a notorious mob hitman, further cementing the road's association with death and mystery. Whether it's the spirits of those who met their untimely ends, the echoes of the dark rituals, or the very road itself acting as a conduit for the supernatural, Clinton Road remains a place where death doesn't just rest, it revisits, reminding all who pass that some paths are better left untraveled. And then there's the sightings of something else. A creature, not quite a man, not quite a wolf. Something with yellow eyes that watches from the trees. Though the infamous Beast of Bray Road is most associated with Wisconsin, there are stories and whispers of a similar sighting near Clinton Road. Locals describe a towering, fur-covered figure spotted in the fog. One driver claimed it ran alongside their car on two legs, keeping pace at 40 miles per hour. They never saw it again, but the deep claw marks across their door told the rest of the story. Many who visit Clinton Road report the same experiences: a sudden drop in temperature, the smell of sulfur, the feeling of eyes on your back, and worst of all, the sense that something is following you. Some never return to the road again. Others come back to life again and again, drawn to it like moths to a flame. But once you've been there, a part of it stays with you. Clinton Road is more than just a haunted stretch of highway. It's a living legend, a trap for the curious, a test of fate, and for some, the last road they'll ever travel. We began this journey on the shores of Lake Lanier, a place drowned in secrets, where the dead are restless and the water remembers every scream. Beneath the surface, forgotten graves, unfinished goodbyes, and something that pulls. Then we move to Gravity Hill, where the laws of physics surrender to something else, where unseen hands push, not to save you, but to pull you back. Not even the road wants to let go. At Wheatland Plantation, blood stained the ground so deeply that even the soil seems to whisper. A battlefield, turned farmland, turned final resting place. Where history isn't just remembered, it's relived in the screams, in the shadows, in the sorrow. And finally, Clifton Road, a cursed artery where ghosts patrol the bends. Phantom trucks chase their prey, and sometimes inhuman prowls just beyond the tree line. A road that chooses its victims and marks them. These aren't just ghost stories, they're warnings. Different places, different decades, different victims, but one terrifying thread binds them all. Each place is where death repeats. Where fate comes not in waves, but in loops. You survive once, and still, it waits. Because these are the locations where death didn't finish what it started. And now, it is watching, waiting, choosing. Lake, road, hill, home. Four corners of a forgotten map. And if you still ever find yourself standing at one of them, ask yourself, did I escape death or delay it? Thank you for joining me around the campfire tonight. If you enjoyed this descent into haunted roads, cursed waters, and restless spirits, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's the only way to make sure that you don't miss what's waiting for you next week. Here on the Friday Night Campfire Stories, we share horror stories every week. Mondays, we dive into real paranormal locations and their haunted histories on Echoes of the Past. Wednesdays, we explore true crime tales that prove that reality is far more terrifying than fiction in my series Far From Fiction. And on Fridays, I share a chapter from one of my original stories with you guys on the Friday Night Campfire Stories, where no story ends the way that you think it will. So go ahead and hit that like button, comment if you've ever been to one of these locations or if you would ever go to one of these locations, and light up the bell icon so you stay notified whenever a new video comes out. Because out here in the dark, you'll want all the warning you can get. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.